What if I told you that the moment you believe you're awake is the deepest part of your sleep? That the hands you move, the people you greet, the world you navigate, none of it is as solid as it seems? Perhaps more unsettling still, none of it exists at all. Not in the way you've been taught to believe. What you call life might be no more than a lucid hallucination, an elaborately coded dreamscape built from the residue of ancient thoughts, forgotten lifetimes, and programs running deeper than DNA. You sit in a body, on a planet, surrounded by others. But what if the entire landscape is a projection within a single, boundless consciousness, your consciousness looping and folding into itself endlessly, like mirrors facing mirrors in an eternal dance of illusion? Pause here. Let that sink in. Because something in you already knows. It knows when you wake up in the morning and feel a strange continuity, as if time didn't really pass. It knows when you're walking through the world and reality feels too rehearsed, too familiar, too scripted. Glitches, déjà vu. The sensation that you've been here before, said these words before, heard that bird call in that exact sequence before. We write these off as anomalies, brain tricks, but maybe, just maybe, they are the echoes of a deeper truth. You're dreaming right now. And if that is true, if the very room you sit in, the thoughts you have, the people you interact with are all parts of your own dream, then who or what is truly out there? The answer may be far more shocking than silence. Perhaps there is no out there at all. Perhaps what we call the external world is the canvas of your inner frequencies, the slow dance of consciousness, painting symbols in motion to help you remember something primal, something eternal. There's a story told not in words, but in frequencies, vibrations, one that has been whispered through Vedic hymns, chanted in the mystery schools of Egypt, encoded in the labyrinths of Mayan temples and the geometry of the stars. It speaks of a reality not bound by flesh or time, but by awareness. The ancient mystics called this Maya, the grand illusion. But today, we call it life, the simulation, the matrix. But the core remains unchanged. We are actors within a holographic tapestry woven from thought, perception, and something else, something watching. You were born into this dream, but not as a prisoner. You were born as the dreamer, the architect, the forgotten god. The moment you believe you are merely a character, when you mistake the shadow for the source, you fall deeper into the sleep of separation. And yet, like all dreams, this one offers clues, keys, little slivers of awareness that break through like shafts of light in a darkened room, that strange feeling that someone else was behind your eyes. The moment you locked gaze with a stranger and felt the infinite, that subtle knowing that none of this is random. And if this is a dream, and no one else truly exists as you think they do, then who are all these people you interact with? Could they be fragments of you, reflections of your thoughts, your wounds, your soul lessons given form? Perhaps every encounter is just a dialogue you are having with your own higher self, wearing countless masks, some comforting, some agonizing, all perfectly designed to stir you awake. To say that you're dreaming is not to say that this life doesn't matter. On the contrary, it means everything matters because it's all a message, all a map. The buildings, the arguments, the lovers, the traffic jams, the books, the illnesses, the stars, all of it may be symbols you designed to help you remember what you are, not a person, not a name, but awareness itself, vast, still, and infinite, wearing the story of you like a costume at a masquerade. And still, the illusion is clever. This dream is reinforced not just by the senses, but by belief. You were taught to believe in walls, in death, in otherness. You were never taught to question the ground beneath your feet. But what if gravity is just agreement? What if time is an editing choice made by consciousness to simulate growth? What if memory is not a record of the past, but the writing of a present narrative to maintain continuity? The entire system depends on your participation. You are the battery, the source, the light behind the curtain. But let's not be too quick to demonize the dream. It is not your enemy. It is your creation. It bends to your gaze. It reflects your beliefs. If you believe yourself small, it will shrink. If you believe yourself powerful, it will rise like a tide. The moment you stop identifying with the character and remember the dreamer, a crack appears. Light pours through. You begin to awaken not from the dream, but within it. This is the difference between spiritual escape and spiritual embodiment. You do not destroy the dream. You lucidly co-create it. So here we are, you and I, sharing a moment in what you may call a video, a script, a voice. But in truth, it is a message encoded in the heart of your own consciousness. You found this not by chance, you manifested it. It is not a transmission from another being, but a self-reflection delivered through another mask of your infinite self. A nudge, a mirror, a soft explosion in the fabric of your sleep. Because here's the truth you've suspected all along, but were afraid to say aloud. You are not in the dream. The dream is in you. And no one around you exists, not as separate autonomous entities, but as reflections, teachers, echoes, avatars within your inner cinema, showing you the parts of yourself that remain unclaimed, unexplored, unloved. This is not nihilism. This is liberation. Welcome to the unveiling. The world you thought was real is about to dissolve into something far stranger and far more beautiful. At the heart of this realization, this awakening from the illusion of the dream, are a handful of core currents, eternal truths that flow beneath the surface of what we call ordinary life. They do not belong to any single religion or philosophy, though each has tried to capture their essence. These themes are not theories to be memorized, but vibrations to be felt. Their truths ripple across cultures, across timelines, echoing in everything from the most ancient esoteric scrolls to the bleeding edge of quantum theory. The first current is the illusion of separateness. This is the central pillar of the dream, the belief that I am here and you are there, that this hand is mine and that body over there is someone else's, that what I do ends at my skin. The dream works because of this illusion, because the dreamer has forgotten it is dreaming. Consciousness has folded in on itself so convincingly that it has cast shadows of itself and named them others. But in truth, there are no others. There is only one awareness, refracted like light through a prism, taking on infinite roles so that it may know itself through contrast. When you look into someone's eyes, you are not peering into another being. You are meeting yourself across the veil, cloaked in a different memory, a different story. Their joys and wounds are yours. Their wisdom is your own. And the things that irritate you most in them are often the parts of yourself still unintegrated. This understanding is not mere philosophy. It is the collapse of duality. The dream shatters at its foundations the moment you realize that every figure within it is a reflection of your inner world, your consciousness projected outward. Next comes the recognition of reality as malleable. Once separateness is seen for what it is, a veil, another revelation arises. The world around you is not fixed, it is reactive, responsive, plastic. Not like cold steel or rigid stone, but like water that bends to the shape of its container. That container is your belief, your emotion, your vibrational state. What you perceive as stable, your circumstances, your relationships, your identity, is actually the residue of your past thoughts and subconscious patterns, crystallized into what you call life. Every object, every person, every coincidence around you is there because your consciousness summoned it. Perhaps not with words, but with frequency. Your fears, your desires, your stories, they all become architecture. This is not some vague law of attraction cliche. This is the fundamental technology of the dream. It runs on resonance. What you hold within, you meet without. Change the script within, and the stage outside must evolve accordingly. Then comes the dimension of time. In the dream, time feels linear, like an arrow shot from the past through the present into the future. But that's only because you're inside the dream. watching the story unfold frame by frame. From the perspective of the dreamer, your higher awareness, time is not a line. It's a spiral, a sphere, a simultaneous bloom of all possibilities at once. Every past life, every future self, every decision path and alternate timeline is occurring now in parallel dimensions of the same dream space. Have you ever felt the strange nostalgia of a place you've never been, or a deep resonance with a teaching you never studied? That's because part of you has been there. Part of you already knows. In dreams, you've met these other selves. In waking life, they leak through in fragments. That version of you that took a different job, loved a different person, chose a different path, those selves are real, and they influence you. They are your parallel reflections. And when you dream, the boundary between them thins. Another crucial layer is the architecture of identity. Who are you really? The name you've been given? The stories you repeat? The voice in your head that sounds like you but never shuts up? These are the avatars of the dream. But beneath them, there is a silent witness, a stillness, a presence that never changes, no matter how your life transforms. That silent awareness has watched you be a child, an adult, a lover, a stranger. It watched you laugh, it watched you cry, it watched you forget, and now it watches you remember. That stillness is the real you, not the body, not the voice, but the observer of it all. And that awareness has no beginning or end. It was never born. It cannot die. It simply is, eternal, formless, yet capable of experiencing every form. When you realize this, the fear of death dissolves, the clinging to roles disappears, and the dream becomes a playground instead of a prison. And still deeper is the idea that this dream is not a mistake. It is not a trap. It is a school, a mirror, a sacred simulation designed with precision and love. Every pain you've experienced has been a coded message, a holographic teacher guiding you toward wholeness. Every synchronicity, every heartbreak, every mystical experience, they're not random. They're part of a breadcrumb trail left by your higher self, leading you back to the place you never truly left. This dream, strange, chaotic, luminous, is an invitation to wake up not by escaping, but by seeing through it. To recognize the illusion, not so you can reject it, but so you can navigate it consciously, like a lucid dreamer who realizes they're dreaming and suddenly learns to fly, to shape, to create, not out of control, but from harmony with the deeper intelligence behind it all. You were never meant to sleep forever. You were meant to forget, yes, but only so that remembering could be meaningful. Only so you could discover your own divinity, not as a belief, but as a lived experience. And so, as you continue to feel the world around you, its textures, its movements, its challenges, know this: none of it is random. All of it is woven from your own light. The characters, the scripts, the twists, they are yours. You are not in the dream. The dream is within you, and each moment is a portal. An opportunity to awaken further, to create with intention, to reclaim the magic you forgot you had. To understand the true depth of this dream, one must go beyond facts and concepts. Language only scrapes the surface. Symbols carry the deeper messages. In every spiritual tradition, in every ancient mystery school, and even in the heart of modern metaphysical inquiry, truth is often cloaked in story. Symbols are how consciousness speaks to itself. They appear in dreams, in myths, in the uncanny moments of synchronicity that stop time for a breath and whisper, "There is more." So let us move now into the symbolic layer of the dream, not to explain it away, but to feel its deeper rhythm, its hidden grammar. And so, like a curious artist, this soul begins to sculpt a dream. It creates a character, a story, a planet, a timeline. It creates obstacles, losses, triumphs, lovers, antagonists, mentors. It programs amnesia into the system, because what is the value of finding the truth if you never lost it to begin with? This is the mythic descent, the journey into matter. And it is echoed across countless stories: the fall from Eden, the sleep of Brahman, the exile of the soul in Gnostic texts. Each tells of a divine spark plunging into density, wearing a costume so convincing that it forgets its light entirely. Until something, some fracture or miracle, begins the reawakening. Now, let's follow the thread of a dreamer within the dream. This dreamer begins life like any other, believing in objects, in other people, in the solidity of things. Life is experienced as a linear path. Emotions rise and fall, relationships unfold, but beneath it all, subtle clues begin to whisper. A dream where the boundaries blur, a stranger saying something uncannily familiar, a sudden rush of presence that turns a mundane moment into eternity. These are cracks in the dream's facade. The dreamer doesn't know it yet, but they've placed these symbols here themselves. Each one is like a flare sent across the veil, a reminder. You are more than you think. This isn't the full picture. Look deeper. One night, the dreamer meets a figure in a dream. The figure is not a person, not really. It's a presence, a luminous being that says nothing, but whose eyes contain galaxies. In that instant, the dreamer feels it, an ancient recognition. This being is not separate. It is them, a higher octave, a part of their own awareness waiting patiently outside the walls of sleep. And the figure dissolves into light. When the dreamer wakes up, something has changed. The world looks the same, but feels different. Edges seem softer. Conversations feel more like mirrors. Everything glows with the possibility of meaning. And the dreamer begins to wonder, what if none of this is solid? What if it's all symbolic? And they begin to see the dream for what it is, not a series of random events, but a living oracle. Every symbol becomes a message. The locked door becomes a metaphor for their own emotional resistance. The thunderstorm mirrors the turmoil of a denied truth. The sudden encounter with a childhood friend reflects a part of them resurfacing for healing. Life transforms into myth. In this new light, even suffering gains symbolic dimension. Pain is no longer a punishment, but a code, a tightly wound signal carrying insight, a soul contract written in fire. The heartbreak was not just loss, it was an initiation. The illness was not just misfortune, it was a forced pause to reconnect with presence. The betrayal was not cruelty, it was the collapse of illusion. This symbolic seeing isn't fantasy. It's the dream awakening to itself. Let us now revisit the figure of the other. In this dream, the people around you are not truly other. They are facets, mirrors, projections not of your ego, but of deeper archetypal forces within your own psyche. Carl Jung called them autonomous complexes. The yogis called them gunas. The mystics simply called them reflections. Your difficult coworker is the unintegrated warrior archetype, challenging your passivity. Your silent parent is the mirror of your own unspoken grief. The guru you admire is the divine potential you've buried under doubt. And the child laughing at nothing in the middle of a busy street, that child is you, untouched by the illusion of separation. The dream creates these characters not to confuse you, but to awaken you. Each interaction is an invitation. See me. See what part of you I represent. Integrate me, and the dream shifts. And what of the environment itself? Cities, forests, storms, deserts, they are not background scenery. They are expressions of inner terrain. The city that never sleeps is your racing mind. The dark forest is your subconscious. The sudden earthquake is the breakdown of an old belief structure. These are not metaphors as afterthought, they are how the dream is built. To live symbolically is to recognize that every breath of wind, every flicker of light, every repeated number or strange coincidence is a piece of a larger sentence being spoken by your own soul. You are not decoding a world outside of you. You are reading the language of your own dreaming. And then there is the ultimate symbol, the mirror. Found in countless traditions, the mirror is the image of truth reflected, reversed, never quite touchable. Every moment in this dream is a mirror. Every person, every challenge, every joy is a polished surface revealing a hidden part of your consciousness. But to see clearly, you must wipe away the dust of assumptions, wipe away the fog of identification. And when you do, the dream smiles back, because it knows, it always knew, you would wake up eventually. In the end, the dream is not trying to trap you. It is trying to initiate you, through story, through symbol, through the slow unraveling of who you thought you were, until all that remains is the lucid recognition. This is all me, and I am dreaming it awake. Once the veil begins to thin, once you recognize the dream for what it is, the next challenge is not to escape it, but to live within it, lucidly. This is where philosophy becomes practice, and mysticism merges with the everyday. Awakening is not meant to remove you from life. It is meant to transform how you meet it. To awaken is not to transcend the human experience. It is to inhabit it fully, with eyes unclouded and a heart tuned to a deeper frequency. The dream continues, yes, but now you see the mechanics. You understand that what happens to you is happening for you, that every moment is a message. The question becomes, how will you respond? Lucidity begins with observation, not passive watching, but an active, non-reactive witnessing. When someone criticizes you, instead of collapsing into defense, you watch. You ask, what is this revealing about my self-image? What belief within me invited this mirror? You do not assign blame. You do not shame. You look, you feel, you decode. And in doing so, you reclaim authorship. You start to notice patterns, not just behavioral loops, but vibrational ones. Certain situations replay themselves, like scenes recycled from an old script. The same type of argument, the same kind of job disappointment, the same emotional ache. But now, instead of asking, why does this keep happening to me? You ask, what is the lesson encoded here? What is the role I'm still unconsciously playing? These repeating scenarios are not failures, they are portals of choice. Each loop is an invitation to respond differently, to rewrite the script in real time. There is a moment, often subtle, when this shift takes root. A traffic jam no longer becomes a source of frustration, but a pause for reflection. An illness becomes a conversation with your body's deeper intelligence. A breakup becomes a sacred clearing, making space for alignment. Lucidity does not mean you avoid pain. It means you extract its wisdom, you alchemize it, you turn shadow into light. On a practical level, this means your habits begin to shift, gently but inevitably. You start speaking less from egoic impulse and more from presence. You listen more. You stop trying to control everything because you understand that life rearranges itself according to your frequency, not your fear. You care for your body, not because it's fragile, but because it's the dream's interface, and keeping it clear allows higher consciousness to flow. Even your relationship with time changes. You stop racing. You stop measuring yourself against arbitrary timelines. You move more in rhythm than schedule, because once you sense the dream's intelligence, you trust its timing. Synchronicities become your compass. Intuition becomes your GPS. The old paradigm of force gives way to alignment, and in your relationships, perhaps the most revealing mirrors of all, you begin to meet others not as fixed identities, but as reflections. That person who once triggered you, you now see the wound behind their behavior, and more importantly, you see the wound in you that attracted the interaction. Compassion arises not as moral superiority, but as shared humanity. When someone lies to you, you explore where you may have lied to yourself. When someone abandons you, you ask where you've abandoned your own truth. Every dynamic becomes feedback. You no longer react out of habit. You respond from consciousness. You begin to take full responsibility, not in blame, but in power. Work transforms as well. You stop striving to prove yourself and begin to create from overflow. You no longer seek meaning from titles or accolades because you've remembered your role as the dreamer. You find ways to infuse presence into what you do, whether you're building empires or sweeping floors. Every act becomes sacred when done with awareness. And what of fear, the ever-lurking residue of the old dream? It still arises, but now you greet it differently. You see it not as a stop sign, but a signal flare. There is something here you haven't claimed. You don't suppress it, you don't judge it, you breathe into it, you ask, what belief is this fear guarding? And in answering, you often find the doorway to your next evolution. Love, too, takes on a new tone. No longer clinging, no longer conditional. Love becomes recognition, not of possession, but of presence. You love not because someone gives you something, but because in their presence you remember a part of yourself. Every soul connection becomes a cosmic reunion. Every heartbreak, a catalyst for deeper intimacy with yourself, with life. The most astonishing change, though, is how you treat your thoughts. You no longer believe everything they say. You hear them, but you no longer become them. You start to sense the space between thoughts, the stillness that is always watching. And in that space, peace grows. Insight arises. You realize that the voice in your head is not you. It's just the narrator of the dream. And you can choose whether to listen, whether to rewrite, or whether to rest in the silence beyond the story. And here lies the quiet miracle. The more lucid you become, the more the dream responds. Reality begins to shimmer, synchronicities cluster, unexpected solutions arise. The world, once solid and stubborn, becomes soft and malleable again, because the dreamer is awake. This is not a fairy tale. This is the natural evolution of consciousness. This is the shift from sleepwalking to soul walking, where every step you take is guided by the dreamer's knowing, not the character's fear. So when you wake in the morning, don't ask, what do I have to do today? Ask instead, what is this dream inviting me to see? When you meet another, don't ask, what do they want from me? Ask, what part of me are they reflecting? And when you feel lost, don't ask, where am I going? Ask, what story have I outgrown? Because this dream is not random, and it's not over. You're still inside it, but now with eyes wide open. So here you are, not at the end of something, but at the threshold. You've wandered through the maze and glimpsed behind the curtain. You've seen that the faces you touch, the rooms you walk through, the hopes and hurts and heavenly moments, all of it is a textured veil made of your own light. This dream is not accidental, it's art. You are the canvas, the brush, and the painter, and now you know it, or rather, you remember. This remembering is not a loud explosion, it is a soft and steady unfolding, like a lotus that blooms in reverse, peeling back the layers of time until it lands in the unshakable truth. You were never the dream. You were always the dreamer. And the others? They are not others. They are costumes worn by consciousness to help you see parts of yourself you wouldn't otherwise meet. The friend who held you when you couldn't speak. The stranger who bumped your shoulder just as you were lost in thought. The lover who shattered you open and left you bleeding wonder. The enemy who mirrored your forgotten shadow. None of them truly exist out there, but all of them exist in here as frequencies, messengers, archetypes, reflections. Does this mean you are alone? Number. In fact, the opposite. Once the illusion of separateness dissolves, you realize you've never been alone. You've always been all one. The entire dream hums with your presence. The stars, the wind, the flicker in a cat's eyes, the static in your headphones, the random page you open in a book. Every particle and pulse is a part of your own field, dancing in cooperation to guide you home. And now, this home is no longer a distant place, no longer something to reach or achieve. It is simply a shift, a soft click in perception, a choice to look not with eyes of habit, but with the eyes of the dreamer, curious, awake, boundless. So what now? You go back into the world, but you do not go back asleep. You walk through the same streets, but the shadows on the pavement speak to you. The rhythm of traffic feels like a heartbeat. You look at people not as strangers, but as soul puzzles, each carrying a key to your next expansion. You talk to trees and feel their listening. You move through sorrow not as punishment, but as poetry. Each grief a necessary shedding of an old identity. You start to co-create. You realize that what you expect, life delivers, not because the world is your servant, but because it is your mirror. You begin to intend with clarity. You speak less from the anxious mind and more from the heart's magnetic center. You find your rituals, whether breathwork or silence, painting or prayer, and you honor them, not as routines, but as sacred codes that stabilize your awareness. And when you forget, and you will, you forgive quickly. You laugh. You remember again. Forgetting is not failure. It is just a blink. And the dream never punishes. It simply waits for your return to lucidity, like a devoted stagehand behind the scenes, ready to lift the curtain again. You learn that the dream evolves as you do, that as you release judgment, the world becomes kinder. As you embody truth, illusions fall away. As you anchor presence, chaos quiets. You don't control the dream like a tyrant. You flow with it like a lucid surfer, co-creating each wave from the shoreline of the infinite. This is the new path, not the path of escape, but of embodied awakening. Not a fleeing from the world, but a falling deeper into it. Eyes open, spirit alive, knowing that every pixel of this experience is a reflection of something holy inside you. And then, something even stranger happens. You begin to see it in others, not just the ones who talk like you or read what you read, but in the unlikeliest places. The janitor humming to himself, the child drawing circles in the dirt, the angry driver gripping the wheel as if holding together the last shreds of his story. You feel their soul behind the static. You recognize their dreamer waking up, even if they don't yet. And your presence becomes a permission slip, a quiet activation. You don't even need to say a word. The field does the talking. This is your gift now, not knowledge, but being. Your frequency speaks louder than your mouth. Your walk shifts atmospheres. You become a living message, a walking invitation back to the real. Because the dream is not over, but now you know it's a dream. And that knowing is everything. So what will you create next? Who will you meet, knowing they are your reflection? How will you respond when the next shadow arises? How will you anchor this lucidity in the marketplace, in your family, in your own quiet room? You don't need a new technique. You don't need more books. You don't even need to believe in anything. You only need to remember, to keep remembering, that you are the dreamer, and you are dreaming this awake. Let that be your mantra. Let that be your mirror. Let that be your freedom. Now go. Step back into the dream, and watch what happens when the dream begins to recognize you too.